I can't wait for another great math video.
I know. Let's get started.
All right, fifth graders, today we are going to work on multiplying powers of 10. So would you please, in your notebook, write that I will be able to multiply positive powers of 10 and I will be able to multiply negative powers of 10. And our vocabulary is the same. So if you pause the video quick and go ahead and write these down. All right, let's get started here. We're going to talk about multiplying by 10 first of all. When we look at 15 times 10, and we have 150, what we basically do is when we're looking at, now this is where we get confused by the just add 0. We're not actually just adding a 0. When you are multiplying by 10, you are taking the 15 and you are moving it one place value to the left, or you are making it 10 times bigger. When we make it 10 times bigger, we put a 0 in as a placeholder, and that's where we get our 150. When you are multiplying by 100, you are taking your 15 and you are going 2 times to the left, or making it 100 times larger, and then you're adding your 0 placeholders there. And then when you have 15 times 1,000, what you're actually doing is you're taking the 15 and you're making it 1,000 times bigger and adding the 0 there. So when we are multiplying by 10, 100, and 1,000, we're actually moving our number that many times larger on the place value chart. So if we look at what we've been doing, and we have our powers of 10 equivalents, we have that 10 is equivalent to 10 to the first power, 100 is equivalent to 10 to the powers of 2, and 1,000 is equivalent to 10 to the powers of 3. If we look at our math problem and we put our equivalent powers of 10 in, we will see that 15 times 10 is the same as 15 times 10 to the power of 1. The same thing with 15 times 100 is exactly the same as 15 times 10 to the power of 2. And 15 times 1,000 is the same as 15 times 10 to the power of 3. So when you're doing powers of 10, you really just need to think about how you would multiply by the standard form and use the exponential form for your powers of 10. So let's look at this one. Let's say we're multiplying positive powers of 10 and we have the number 28. We're looking at 10 to the 4th power. If we put 28 in here and we're talking 10 to the 4th, we know that 10 to the 4th can also be shown as 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, or 10 to the 4th can be written as 10,000. What you can do is when you're doing 28 times 10 to the power of 4, you can think of it as moving this 10,000 times bigger. And when we move it 10,000 times bigger, we're moving it over 10 times 10, 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, and we put in our placeholders, because without our placeholders, our number is just 28. And so when we have that, we have 280,000. So that's one way to look at it when you're multiplying it. Here we have 168 times 10 to the 6th power. The same thing. We're starting by 10, or 168 in its regular place, and we're doing it times 10 6 times. 10 times bigger, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we would fill in our zeros. Just like that. And so our answer is then 168 million. And you can see that 168 million is 1 million times larger, or 6 times larger. So let's look at our 9. If we have our 9, and we are doing 10 to the power of 3, that is the same as 10 times 10 times 10, or 3 tens. So we 10 times, 10 times, 10 times, and we pop in our zeros. We then have 9,000. 10 times 10 times 10 equaling 1,000, so it'll also be 9 times 1,000. And then once again, let's look at 1,897 times 10 to the 1. We know that 10 to the 1 is 10. So it'd be moving it only 10 times larger. And we would get 18,907. So when you're multiplying by powers of 10, it's just like multiplying by 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. You're using the same procedure by making it that many times bigger on the place value chart. So let's take a look at it with decimals. When we have decimals in it, we're going to do the same thing, except what we're going to do is we'll put our decimal place in the middle. Here I have 1.4 times 10 to the 4th, which is 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And so I'm going to make it 1,000 times bigger. 110, 210, 3 10s, 4 10s. And then I put in my zeros. Now, of course, I would ignore the decimal point at this decimal place, and my answer would be 14,000. My decimal stays here. So this decimal is still here, but it gets 1,000 times larger. Let's try a different one. Let's look at 5.68. For this one, 5.68 stays there, and I'm going 10 to the 6th power. So I have 6 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I fill in my zeros because I went 10 6 times larger than 5.68, and I get 5,680,000. Let's try it again. This time we have 9 tenths. So we're getting even, so we have no whole numbers. And we're doing 10 to the 3rd. So it's 10 times 10 times 10. So I would go 1, 2, 3, fill in my zeros, and I have 900. And then let's take 40 and 37 hundredths and do the same thing. We have 10 to the 1, which is just one movement, and we have 403.7. So we're multiplying by 10. We're basically moving to the left, increasing it by that many times 10. All right, another way to look at it would be this. So we have 28 times 10 to the 4th. We are going to be moving our decimal to the right 4 times, and that is the same as moving it across the place values. And for each time we move it over, we put in a 0, and we have our answer. On 168 times 10 to the 6th, we're going to move our decimal to the right 6 times. And we fill in our zeros. So one thing just to remember, when you have a positive power of 10, you're moving it to the right. You're shifting your decimal to the right that many times. And 9 times 3 would be shifting the decimal to the right 3 times. And putting in your zeros. All right? All right, the same thing with a number like this. We have 10 to the power of 4. Our decimal's in the middle of the 1 and 4, but we're still going to shift it to the right 4 times. Put in our zeros, and we have 14,000. On this one, 5.8 times 10 to the power of 6. We're going to shift it to the right 6 times. Put in our zeros, and there we have 5,680,000. And 10 to the 9, we're going to shift our decimal to the right 3 times, put in our zeros, and we have 900. So that's one way to look at multiplying at that. I would like you to try these 4. Pause the video for a second, and then we will check them. Okay, here we go. Let's start with 18. What I would do is I would do 18. That's what the decimal would be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the new place for the decimal. Fill in my zeros, put my commas in. I have 1,800,000. Let's look at 16.7. 16.7, it's 10 to the 2, so I'm going to shift my decimal 2 places to the right, fill in my 0, and my new answer is 1,670. Here I have 9,824 with the decimal. I'm going to shift it 8 times because 8 is my exponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My new decimal. And fill in each of my loops with a 0. Come back, put my commas in. And there I have a very large number. And I have 8 hundredths times 10 to the first, which is 10 times. So I only move my decimal place 1, and my new answer is 0.8. Okay, hope you checked yourself on that. See how you did. If you need to go back through and recheck.